Does overtraining exist? This is one of those things where it depends on the person, and it also depends on what you're doing too. So let's take, for example, somebody that's doing bodybuilding style of training, so hypertrophy, versus somebody that's doing like powerlifting or CrossFit. I believe, yes, you can overtrain, but first of all, most people do not train hard enough as it is to actually become to the point where you are overtraining and you need to take a rest. But also, it depends on where you're at in terms of your fitness journey. So let's say, for example, you're doing an intense body fat shred. So, you're doing hours of cardio a day on top of your resistance training workouts. You're eating very little carbs, very little fat, low calories in general. So at this point, I feel that you can definitely be overtraining. And myself in the past, when I was training for bikini competitions, when I was training for photo shoots and getting lean, I would go about, I want to say like 7 days before I actually start to feel the effects of overtraining. By day 7, I couldn't sleep, I was getting sore muscles, like my whole body was aching, my workouts and my form was decreasing, the quality of my reps, the quality of how much I was burning in my training sessions and my cardio was decreasing. So there, yes, that is when, you can overtrain. So somebody like that who's doing very low calories and someone that's doing high amounts of exercise, yes, you can be overtraining. But for most people, the average person or someone just wanting to get into better shape, lose body fat, not get shredded, just look better, you can likely train every single day for at least like a few weeks straight before you need a rest day or before you feel like you're overtraining. I've done this too. Honestly, guys, I don't take rest days in my off season when I'm just trying to build muscle. It's very rare for me that I need a rest day where none of my muscles are good enough to be trained, so they're all sore. Like, to me, that's when I think you are overtraining or you need a rest day, is when if you were to train any muscle, you feel like you would get injured or your form would be terrible. So, and those are some signs too, guys, if you're overtraining. Your form is diminishing, lack of sleep, you're getting injured, pulling muscles, or, you can't recover very fast. Sometimes muscle cramping, but that's more so when you are eating very low calories and doing high amounts of cardio. So yeah, honestly, guys, unless you're like doing powerlifting, that's not my scope of practice, so I can't say too much about that. But I do think that if you're doing stuff like deadlifting heavy weights, you are doing pull-ups, you're doing all this cleans and like whatever the CrossFit stuff is, that's very taxing on the body and on the joints that way, then yes, I think you can be overtraining. But for the average person just trying to build muscle, doing a hypertrophy, you likely are not overtraining. You're just being a bit of a bitch. So just continue doing your workouts, and if you're feeling like you're overtraining, ask yourself if you can train any muscle, and if you can, you likely have not been overtraining. So that's my thoughts about overtraining. There's no actual science that tells you that if you overtrain muscle, whatever that means to you, that you would lose muscle. So just on that note, guys, be intuitive. Do not train to the point where you are going to injure yourself. That's not good. But also keep in mind that you don't want to miss training days where you can actually utilize a good workout. So make sure you don't skip them if you don't have to. And thank you all for watching. Comment on this video if you found it helpful, and make sure to tune in for the next video.